Rabbi Weiss. Happy Hanukkah.
Hadlakah Chanukah. Are we on for today?
Yes, Rabbi, we are on.
Oh, I'm
Rav Shlomo,
okay.
Rav Shlomo is muted for some reason.
What?
Get muted. Can you hear me now?
I hear you. Do you hear me? Hello.
Yeah, we can hear the Rav. In fact, to our respect, before Ramoncha put on a picture of the Rav's Hadlakah, believe it or not, this is Ayin Roya at all times. We saw you lighting both inside and outside.
Really?
Yes, we did. I'll admit, before you get too excited, that I don't think it was this year. Well, my raya to that is, you see the picture? My raya to that is, because on the bottom of the other one, you show, it says, Kolas Chiyos Shmuros. So Mustama, that couldn't be this year.
Right.
That's our raya. That's outside in the alleyway, right? And then there's also another picture, which I'll show you in a moment, even though it's not the topic of the share, of the Hadlakah to the merpeset, to the garden. The second thing I want to mention to you, that as I mentioned to you, that today is Rav Steinman's yard site. So the Rav wants to say a word or two about either before or after.
Yes.
I happen to know personally. I was on a trip once with the Rav and Rav Steinman, and you remember that very well, I'm sure. So.
And how I remember that. It was so meaningful. And I owe you a greater kolas hatov. I think you initiated that. And from that trip on, I had a very, very special relationship with Moran Rav Steinman. I knew him before, he knew me, but it is only from that trip on that we had such a special relationship. And I was I used to come visit Rav Steinman, and the Bnei Bayis used to ask me to come more often, because when I come in, he is aufgelebt, and he is besimcha, and his mood changes immediately. So I tried my best, to visit as much as I could. He was a giant of our time in so many different ways, and such an anvesan shvalberach at the same time. So first, let's be oisik a bit. So I am a bit surprised, because I thought we're not having a shiur today. I thought you're taking some old materials, so that's why I'm late to come on. I just noticed that I was invited.
No, we discussed this, and the Rav, and I said the Rav will choose whether you want, and then I got all of a sudden I got the Marmakoimis sent here. So I thought that meant the Rav understood that it was going on. Here is the Marmakoimis that was sent to us by your office.
Okay, great. So what we will be discussing today, I'm just having a look at the Marmakoimis. Could you scroll and let me see the continuation of the Marmakoimis after 1, 2, 3? Let's go on. Darka Moshe, do we have the Sefer Hasidim? Yes. Okay, so today we will be discussing a very fascinating topic and an interesting coalition between two Gedolim, each of them in their own way, and I don't think they in their lives agree to many things, but they do happen to agree on an interesting psak. So the Talmidim of HaRav Yoshe Soloveitchik from Boston quote in his name Reb Hershel Shechter in his Sefer Nefesh HaRav, Reb Michael Shurkin in his Sefer Hararei Kedem. They quote that Reb Yoshe Soloveitchik said that the minig either of his father, Reb Moshe, was the Briskarov's brother, or going all the way back to Reb Chaim, their minig was the first night to say all 3 brochas before Hadlakah's Ner Rishon. But from the second night and on, they said Lahadlik Ner Shel Chanukah, and they lit the first candle, and then Sha'os Nissim before lighting the second candle. It would be a surprise. Agon Reb Moshe Sternbuch from the Eida Chareis Yerushalayim, Tshuvas V'Hanhogas Cheleg Beis, Simen Shin Lamed Tes, quotes Hararei Kedem, Reb Michael Shurkin. I'm not sure he quotes the name of the Sefer, that this was Reb Chaim's minig, and he supports this minig. He seems to like it. So I don't think Reb Yosef Soloveitchik and Reb Moshe Sternbuch agreed on many things, but they do seem to agree on an interesting minhag. From second night Chanukah on, first bracha comes before Hadlakah's narration, second bracha comes after Hadlakah's narration, before Hadlakah's narration. So let's examine and try to understand. And I want to say at the outset of this year, I totally disagree with this minig, and I will explain why. Starting off from the most fundamental source, the Gemara Shabbos Daf Chav Gimel, quoting a Weiss. Omer Achia Barashi Omer HaRav Amad L'knei Shel Chanukah Tzorech Lavorach. Rabbi Yirmiyah Omer Aroi Ner Chanukah Tzorech Lavorach. Omer Rav Yehuda, what brachas does one say? Yom Rishon Haroi Mavorach Shtayim V'Madlik Mavorach Shalosh. Mekan Ve'elach Madlik Mavorach Shtayim V'Roya Mavorach Achas. Ma'amayit, which is the bracha we only say first day and not the other days. Zman, which means Shehechiyanu. Source number 2. Melayalishim ve'elach Mavorach Shtayim Lahadik Shos Nissim Hago. The Rama says, V'yavorach kol brachas koidem sheyatchel lahadlik. You say all the brachas before you start lighting. And that is clear. The Mishnah Berurah explains, but it goes all the way back to the Maharil. As we see in source number 2, the Maharil is the source of this psak. Koidem sheyatchel lahadlik de be'inin shiyu kol brachas oivel asiyason. Bir halacha, source number 4, v'yavorach kol brachas v'ein afkamina bein leil rishonu l'shar haleilos. So both the Beis Yosef and the Darkei Moshe accept the Maril, and they both say there is no difference between first night, other nights. Let's have a look at Darkei Moshe. So as you probably know, the Ramah is the Kitzur in Darkei Moshe. The Ramah follows in the footsteps of the great Beis Yosef. So the Beis Yosef elaborated and discussed at great length Birur HaHalacha in Beis Yosef, and then the Shulchan Aruch is just a brief synopsis. Tamtzis Hadvarim. The Ramah followed the same formula. Darkei Moshe is more at length, and the Mappa on the Shulchan Aruch is very brief. So the Ramah in Darkei Moshe quotes the Maril. Shelo hitchil ma'adlokah ad siyam kol habroches kedei shetei habrocha oivel asiyaton. Avol betoldos Odom v'Chava and Siftet. I don't know whether you're all familiar what is Toldos Odom v'Chava. That is Rabbeinu Yerucham. Rabbeinu Yerucham was a Talmud of the Rosh, and that is his sefer. Rabbeinu Yerucham Toldos Odom v'Chava kosa b'shem Rabbeinu Yoina. And this is an interesting shitta. Shem b'layil rishon mavorach kol hagimel brochos koydem hadlakah kedei shiyu oivel asiyason. ובליל שני מבורך קודם הדלוקה להדלק בשעוס הניסים, לאחר הדלוקת נרשם, קודם שידלק נר שני. שהוא נס עושה יום, וכן בליל שלישי, על נר שלישי, וכן בכל הלילה, so מבורך שעוס הניסים, על נר שמויסף בעושה הלילה. אבל לא ראיסי רבוי סיינוי כן, עד כאן לשוינוי, וכן כוסף אבו דרהם בשם רבנו יונה. So both Rabbeinu Yerucham and Abu Darham bring an interesting minig of Rabbeinu Yonah. And let me explain, that is not the minig I mentioned a few minutes ago. According to Rabbeinu Yonah, Leil Shemini, the 8th night, you say Shos Nissim before the last ner, before number 8. The 7th night, you say Shos Nissim Aviseinu before the 7th ner. The logic of Rabbeinu Yonah is, Shos Nissim, you say before the ner that comes to emphasize Goydel Hanes, that this nes was multiplied the 2nd night, and it became even a greater nes the 1st night, 4th night, and even greater the 5th night. So you always say she'osu Nissim before tonight's candle. The Beis Yosef brings this minhag, and the Beis Yosef says it's not shayech leminhagenu. Because our minhag is we start left and then we go right. So every night, the first candle we are madlik is the new one. Rabbeinu Yonah had a different minhag. Rabbeinu Yonah started on the right and he went left. So the last candle you're madlik every night is the Tosefes. You say Al Nissim before the Tosefes. But Ledidan, that we start on the left and we go right, says the Beis Yosef, it's not Shaykh Minhag Rabbeinu Yonah. But nevertheless, even the Abu Darham and Rabbeinu Yerucham quoting Rabbeinu Yonah, they both say, it is not the accepted minhag. So Rabbeinu Yonah is geboita Masechet Safran. Let's have a look at Masechet Safran. So I mentioned a minhag before. Rav Moshe Sternbuch, Hagun Rav Moshe Sternbuch, Kodesh Baruch Hu should send them refuas and Yeshuas, and the Talmidim of Birchas Rebbe Soloveitchik, both like the minhag, and they both recommend a minhag which is new to us. HChanukah before Ner Rishon, She'osu Nissim before Ner Sheni every night. It is based on Masechet Safra. So Masechet Safra is a brayse. Let's have a look. Let's go through this section. Keitzad Mevochem b'yom rishon amadlik mevorach sholish v'roim mevorach shtayim. It is what we saw in the Gemara just a few moments ago. Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu melech hu olam asher kedushono b'mitzvoseh v'tzivono l'hadlakah v'omer haneres eilu onim adlikim al Yeshuas al Nissim v'anaflois. More or less, our nusach of haneres eloli, and only then, Baruch atah Hashem shechiyonu v'kimono v'omer she'osu Nissim l'avoseinu. Masechet Sofrim seems to say, you say the Bruch al Hadlik, then you say haneres elolu onu madlikim, and only then you say Shechiyonu and She'osu Nissim. Goes without saying that you can't say haneres elolu before you're madlik Ner Rishon, because that would be a hefsek between the brocha and the hadlakah. So it should be assumed that when you say Asher Kedushono v'tzivono l'hadlik ner HChanukah, you're madlik, and then you say haneres elolu, and only then do you say the other two brochas. So, the above-mentioned minhag is somewhat of a compromise between the Rama and the Maharil, who both say all the brochas oivel asiyoson and Masechet Sofrim. So Masechet Sofrim seems to say no difference first night, other nights, She'osu Nissim la'achar ha'adlakah. But we want to be Makayim de Marelo Oivel Asiyoson. So the first night we say all three brochas before the Hadlakah. From the second night and on, we say Asher Kedushono l'Hadlik, we're Madlik, and then we say She'osu Nissim, and it is still considered Oivel Asiyoson because we still have additional neiris to light. So this is a compromise. Could we move on with the Mara Mekoimis? Scrolling down from 6 to 7. The other page, do we have additional pages, I hope? Are we connected? Do you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So let's have a look at the Maril, source number 8. Umashe ma'achram haneres eloli achar kol ha'brochos. Narrowly. Mishum de ein lahadlek ad she'egmor kol ha'gimel brochas. K'moi she'oisim b'kriyas megillah v'netilas lulav. The kili be'ina noivel asiyason. So what about the Masechet Sofrim? So the Maril deals with Masechet Sofrim. O Masechet Sofrim mikalameim et esvira commando mabi Yerushalmi b'shas asiyason. ואנו אין לנו אלא תלמיד עידן דעיקר. וכל שכן דאין מניק פושט לאמרה. הייך נפסיק בתופר לבין הוא עיקר. So the Maharal quotes the Masechet Soifrim, and he rejects the Masechet Soifrim Mahalocha. How does the Maharal understand Masechet Soifrim? In Babli, Psachim Dav Zayin, Sukkah Mem Vav, we learn Kol HaMitzvos Mavorach Aleim Oivadasiyosam. In Yerushalmi Masechet Brochas, I think it's Daf Nun Tes, is a Machlokes Rabbi Yochanan and Rav Huna. Rabbi Yochanan says Kol HaMitzvos Mavorach Aleim Oivadasiyosam. Rav Huna says B'shas Asiyosam. And that is what the Maharal in the second line, Masechet Sofer Mikol Hameim in the Svira Kavadum B'Yerushalmi B'shas Asiyosam. So the Maharal explains Masechet Sofer. You could say an Eretz Elolo and then say the other two brochas. B'shas Hadlakah Neiros. However, our shitta is like the Babli. You need to say all the brochas Sofer Yosan, and therefore ein halacha k'Masechet Sofer. Source number 9 is the Abu Darham. And the Abu Darham, let us scroll down a bit. I don't control the screen, so I need to ask you to scroll down. Kosav Rabbeini Yoina. Shebalai listen Mavorach Sholosh Bochazela Koidem Hadlakah. Kol HaMitzvos Mavorach Aleim Siyosan. Or Belal Sheni Mavorach Koidem Hadlakah Hadlakah. V'Shosin is Mavorach Achashad Nerishin Koidem Sheni. And it is based on the Masechet Soifrim. V'amrinam b'Masechet Soifrim Amadlik Nachanakah Chashid L'Koim Enes Aloru. And then he says, Anes Aloru, Mekain Hoya Noyagin. Could we scroll down? Could we scroll down?
Maram Rutenberg and the Rush.
Yeah, so all he quotes from Maram Rutenberg in the Rush is only the Nusach of Aneres Alo, not more than that. He just writes that Rabbeinu Yona's opinion is the other nights you say She'osa Nissim Lavuseinu before the last Hadlakah. And then we have Rabbeinu Yeruchim that we already discussed before. Scroll down, down, down after Rabbeinu Yeruchim. So instead of looking for different pages, it's all centralized. The Ritva is an additional opinion. Nahagu levorach shloshtam koidem hadlakah. Mishum de v'kol HaMitzvos mavorach aleim v'lasiyasan. K'moishe mavorach shloshtam koidem mikra megillah. ויש אומרים, כי הראשונים שברכס המצווה צורך לברך תחילה, אבל שתיים אחרת אומרים, אחר שהתחיל להדליק, שיהיה רויה ניסוי ויבורך עליה כאין הרויה נר חנוכה. ואין לשנויס בזה המינהל. So the Ritva brings a minig that the other two brachas we say after Hadlakah, Tchilas Hadlakah, but the Ritva rejects this minig ve'ein l'shanois b'zeh aminat. We go to page number 3. Page number 3, which is opinion number 4. Yesh medaktikin levorach Birchas ladik b'rishoino v'she'osa Nissim b'achroino v'she'osho roya kol mashu chayev lahadlik. So the Meiri brings some opinions that you say She'osa Nissim after you finish all the neighbors. Sheroya kol mashu chayev lahadlik. So it is a variety of opinions, but the vast majority of Rishonim say Ein Leshanis Min HaMinhag. Both the Beis Yosef and the Ramah are aware of the Masechet Seifrim based on the Maharil, and the Maharil rejects the Masechet Seifrim. Ein Halacha K'Moisei. The Beis Yosef and the Ramah, agreed upon by the Mogen Avraham and the Taz, you say all the brachas koidim sheyatchel lahadlik. I want to scroll down till the end of our Ma'amekoimis. Let's see source number 14. Will you please cooperate with me and just scroll down?
Yes, sir. There's a Zoom lag. I'm so sorry. I am doing it. There's a Zoom lag between New York and Eretz Yisrael. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. So the Tur quotes the Masechet Seifrim. Garsinim b'Masechet Seifrim. Hadlakah HaShadlak Oymen HaNeres Halolo. All the Tur brings from Masechet Seifrim is HaNeres Halolo. But he totally ignores what's mashma in the Masechet Seifrim. That after HaNeres Halolo we say Shechianu and Shosa Nissim. The Torah says we say all the three brachas before the Hadlakah. Let's have a look at the Bach. Hadlakah HaShidlik. Haloshen mashma shoyim koidim shiyavorach shos enisim. V'chein kosev marish and leket yoshev ocha mashma b'mesechet soifrim. Miu. I'm learning the Bach. Source number 16. Miu b'tshuvas maharil kosev the ono ein lano ela talmidei dedan. The Kol HaBrochas Sorach V'Ochayv Rasyosi Kamosh Oisen B'Mikro Megillah V'Natilas Lola. So he quotes the Marel, rejecting Masechet Seifrim from the Halacha. So let me make my opinion clear. If the Masechet Seifrim would be a new discovery, there would be room for pshoras. The Beis Yosef and the Ramah both quote the Maharil. The Maharil brings the Masechet Seifrim, and he says, Ein halacha k'moisei. And we say all three brachas before Tchilas HaHadlakah. That is the opinion of all the major Rishonim. Even Rabbeinu Yerucham that quotes Rabbeinu Yoina, he says, our minig is to say all the brachas before. Rabbeinu Yoina doesn't coincide with this new minig. Rabbeinu Yoina says we say Shos Nissim before the last ner. The Ritva brings the Meiri brings the Yeshua, we say Shos Nissim after he finished Hadlakah's Kol HaNeiros Kulam. So I don't see any room to adopt a new minig Shaloi Sharam Avuseinu, to make a pshara between Maharil and Masechet Seifrim. Who are we to question all the greatest poskim in 1,000 years, including the Maharil, agreed upon by both the Beis Yosef and the Ramah? Let me make an additional comment. Some of the great Mefarshim on Masechet Seifrim, Nachlas Yankov. Nachlas Yankov was printed in Tov Kuf Nun Gimel, 230 years ago exactly. The Chidah has a Perasha Masechet Seifrim called Kikar La'odem. And their interpretation of Masechet Seifrim is Ein Mugdam V'Ma'uchar V'Masechet Seifrim. Because it really doesn't make sense to say the two brachas after HaNeiros Halolo. And it's also a Temi Gedore to say the Shechionu before Shos Nissim. Nobody of the poskim says Shechionu comes before Shos Nissim. And a Masechet Seifrim, if we recheck the Masechet Seifrim, he says HaNeiros Halolo, then Shechionu, then Shos Nissim. So both the Chidah and the Nachlas Yankov say Masechet Seifrim ein bo mukdam v'ma'uchar. All the Masechet Seifrim wants to teach us is, what are we supposed to say? Three brachas and the addition of HaNeiros Halolo. So what we see on our screen right now is the Knesset HaGedolah. Knesset Agdolis Ben Benishti, more than 400 years ago. And he starts off with Mesechet Soifim. Garsinim be Mesechet Soifim. Omer HaMaasef. We're going down to source number 17, Knesset Agdola. B'Mesechet Soifim Perek Chav Alo Chavov Shni U'Beloshon Hazeh. And he quotes the Mesechet Soifim. However, with a slight deviation. Nere metoch dvorim elo, the Omer HaNeres Alolu Koidem Birchas Al Nissim veBirchas HaChanukah. He puts Al Nissim before HaChanukah. But he says, Mashma, that first he says Neres Alolu. Shuvas Mashal Netzosi Kosev Bago. Netzosi, B'menogim Mishonim Shiyom Neres Alolu Koidem Shos Nissim Achen Kosev Mari. Menagenu LaOmroi Achar Shloishes HaBrochoi. So the Maral also says, no, we say an Eretz Elul Achas L'Shabrochas. Kosav Maril, Shatam, Mishim De'ein Lahadlak Ad Sheyigma Kol Agimel Brochos. So everybody quotes the Maharil, all the Poiskim, Beis Yosef, Darke Moshe, Knesset Hagdola. Let's scroll down to page number 4. So this is such a chiddush b'yainai. Who are we to suddenly adopt the Mesechet Soifim and compromise with a psak shaloi sharum avoiseinu? Everybody quotes the Maharil. There are different interpretations, but this is a new minhag, and be'enai teime gedola. I don't think it's right. I think, as always, we follow in the footsteps of the Shulchan Aruch and the Ramah. So as we all are aware, when there's a machlokes between the Ramah and the Shulchan Aruch, the Sfardim follow the Beis Yosef, Ashkenazim follow the Ramah. In our case, from the great Rishonim to the Maharil, Beis Yosef, Ramah, Mogan Avraham and Taz have no comment, no argument. So this is the minhag that we've been doing for hundreds of years. Suddenly to come along, as if you discovered America, a Mesechet Sofrim, everybody brings a Mesechet Sofrim. There are different pshot and different interpretations, but no one suggests saying Lahadlik before the Nerishin, Shol Nissim before Ner Sheni. Well, it's Lo Kamar V'Lo Kamar. Doesn't fit in with the Mesechet Sofrim either, because according to Mesechet Sofrim, we don't know exactly when he says Shol Nissim Avosenu. Even the first night, he says La'achar. So this new minhag doesn't fit in with Mesechet Sofrim, and it goes totally against the Maharil, as I said at the beginning of the Shir. It's a pshara. Who are we to suggest this pshara? Just doesn't make sense. It's a teime gedola be'enai. And I don't believe this comes from Reb Chaim. To the best of my knowledge, Brisk Yerushalayim knows nothing about this minhag. And all the svarim that were written up about the minhagim of Reb Chaim Brisker by the Yerushalmi part of the family, Rebel, and all the great children of the Brisker Rav, I don't think they know anything about this minhag, so I really doubt it was Reb Chaim's minhag. So it's a shtick of Pele b'yenai. Rabbi Yosef Ben Soloveitchik from America was the son of Reb Moshe, Brisker Rav's brother. If he quoted this minhag in the name of Reb Moshe, it would seem logical to me. But some of his Talmidim say that he argued this was Reb Chaim's minhag, and to me it's a pella that Reb Moshe Sternbuch accepts this Mesoidus, that this was Reb Chaim's minhag, and I very much doubt that this was Reb Chaim's minhag, and I also totally disagree with this minhag. Ein lanu elo minhag aviseinu biyadenu. Both the Beis Yosef and the Ramah agreed with the Maharil. All three brachas should be said every night, oiva l'seyosan, before tchilas Hadlakah. Could we please scroll down, because I do not recall what we have in the continuation of our Mara Mekoimis. Could we go down from number 18? And I just want to see what else we have on our source list, because I would like to share with you another big chiddush about the bracha she'oso Nissim la'avoseinu b'yomim ho'eim b'zman aseh.
Sorry, Rebbe, this is the last one, Malcolm. Number 18 is the last.
Okay, so in Minchas Osher Chelik Beis, Minchas Osher Chanukah, there's a fascinating discussion about various different shaylas in she'oso Nissim. And what I brought is an opinion brought in the Meiri that even if a person cannot be madlik neres Chanukah, and he also doesn't see ner Chanukah, he still should say, Bode Shechianu and She'oso Nissim Laviseinu B'yom HaMa'im B'zman Hazeh. And according to this, whenever he wishes,
Undershook.
Even kishu oimed b'shuk. And this opinion says the zman is mechayev. B'shas Hadlakah is priority number 1. B'shas hariyah is priority number 2. But he missed the flight. This flight was canceled, and he is in Casablanca. He's in Ankara, Turkey, or wherever he is in the airport. He cannot be madlik, and there's no Jew in the area. He still should say, because the Zman is Machayev, the Broch. And that is an opinion brought in the Meiri, and the Mishnah Berurah brings it in Bialocha. It's not a halacha psuka, but it's a fascinating opinion. And it fits in with the Ramban in Brochas Daf Nun Daled. The Ramban on the Brocha she'osa lineis b'mokom hazeh writes, the Brocha she'osa lineis b'mokom hazeh is similar to the Brocha she'osa Nissim laviseinu b'yom ha'ma'im b'zman hazeh. Time and space are related. So right now I sound like a physics teacher. Time and space, time and mass. But the Ramban explains, time and space are associated. And just like when a person comes to a place, Mokim shenasu Nissim, he says, Baruch she'oso li neis b'mokom hazeh, Baruch she'oso la'avoseinu neis b'mokom hazeh. The same when a person comes to a time, he also needs to say the bracha, she'oso Nissim laviseinu b'yom ha'ma'im u'b'zman hazeh. And this is a fascinating chiddush. First of all, it's a very uncommon situation, especially in today's modern world. You don't get stuck somewhere below Chanukah. It shouldn't happen. You should be cautious enough. And I don't think this is halacha psuka, because it's only a yeshoim that the Meiri brings, but it's an interesting opinion. So before I say goodbye to you and I, just a few words about Rabban Leib. I miss him deeply, because I saw in Rabban Leib something so unique, something so special. A Godel b'Yisrael, Boki b'kol chadrei Torah, Tzadik Yesod Olam Porush, and he was such an Anvesan Ushval Berech, and the most lovely person I know, just as a person. And he had an amazing sense of humor. I once asked him, who is your Rebbe Muvak? He smiles and he says, the Yetzer Hara. Everybody in the room laughed their heads off. The Yetzer Hara. I think he overcame his Yetzer Hara many, many, many years ago. He was such a tzaddik. And I'm not such a maven on the Yetzer Hara. But I think the Yetzer Hara was Nisyayish Mimeno for many years, and he moved on to others. I've known people in my life who are prushim, but usually a porush that isn't nehena miyolam hazan is not a very happy person. They're usually very agitated and very nervous and not very friendly. Rabban Leib, Mamish, Loina Hanami Yolam Azebeloi Klum. I and Reb Shloime accompanied Rabban Leib in his travels in Chutz. He ate almost nothing. He drank almost nothing. He barely ate and drank anything. He didn't know what tivus are at all. He was the happiest man you could ever meet. Always with a lovely smile, always in a good mood. I never met Rabban Leib when he was angry or nervous or agitated. He was such a lovely person and such a tzaddik nizgav, kol masav l'shem shemayim. So I flew with him on a private plane. I think we were flying from Chicago to Toronto. I don't remember exactly what part of the trip, because I flew with Rabban Leib a few trips. I was with him New York, Chicago, Toronto, together with a Getter Rebbe in Los Angeles. That was another trip. So we were flying, and I was sitting across him, and I tell him, Rosh Hashiva, look out of the window. Such beautiful sights out there. And he looks at me and he smiles. And he says, the Gemara is even more beautiful. Couldn't get him to look out of the window to be Nanami Olam Hazeh. I enjoyed the sights. And we talked on learning the entire flight. And wherever I spoke to him in learning, it was as if he learned the Gemara just yesterday. It's a real Gadol b'Torah, an Amkin, a Boki. But where he was unique was more in his midas. Porosh mi'olam hazeh, an v'san shval berach, chacham muflag. He was so wise and so smart and such deep insight, not only in Torah, but also b'halichos b'nei Adam. So Baruch Hashem, it was a tremendous chus to be close to him and to have such a special relationship. And I think his loss is desperately felt in our entire Hanhogas at Tzibur, in Israel and probably in America as well. Should be a Meles Yosef, a Kol B'nai Yisrael, because he loved Klal Yisrael, he loved every Yid dearly. Gedolim Tzadikim b'misos and Yosef b'chayei. Should be a Meles Yosef for us all, and we should be Zoicha b'Korah b'Yameinu to see the Koyim. Meitov u'madlikas haneres and Eichal b'menores amor b'beis hamikdash b'mheirov Yomeinu.